this week. I feel like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour of my life trying to change up. I was just discussing, an approach of learning the first bit. When we're playing alternate bass, it's really easy to subdivide the things into, or if we're playing like low, high, middle, high, we're still thinking in terms of like two bass notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And the first thing I said before we started the lesson was that there's really only like 4 rhythms that can occur. There's just 1, 2, whether we put high notes at the same time as the bass notes, like 1, 2. There's 1 and 2. There's 1 and 2 and there's 1, 2 and. Any 2 beats that we learn are gonna go 1, 2, 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and, or 1, 2 and, every single one of them ever will be just bass, bass, bass and bass, or bass and bass and, bass, bass and. And it seems like you're pretty familiar with interacting with downbeat, upbeat, so yeah, no sweat. So left hand overview on our entire E thing. In the first measure, we're just going to be going, E and then really quick pinky thing. And then your pinky's going to be more chilling out there during the second measure. So yeah, just looking at our first 2 beats in the song, I'm going, there we go, I'm playing E. So there we go, that was just 1 and 2. Oh, not much shock out there, but just stop and conceptualize that. Now don't start there, start at the next 2 beats in the song when you're playing this at home, because you can totally go like that, but right now we're just memorizing the next 2 beats. Here I did not the best job in my life of making it clear that this 3 and 0 are lined up together at the same time, but they are. We're going, those 2 are together. We've just gone boom, do, and then we've got 3 and 4. Left hand wise, I was just like, my pinky came in for a second, and then I left again. So putting those together, we went boom, ba, boom, ti, boom, and there's the first half. And I'm playing that really staccato, just for like this happened, then that happened. But yeah, watching your own right thumb is a good idea if you need to do something to take your visual focus off the page when you feel like you've actually memorized the subsection. Look at your right hand, because it's something you're working towards being on autopilot with, but right now actually having a visual interaction with it makes it a lot easier to see. I just hit the low bass note, next the high bass note is coming, versus trying to do it by feel or wherever you normally just are when you're thinking about what you're doing. So, because autopilot forthcoming, in the meantime we'll be thinking about it consciously while you're memorizing it. Cool, so our whole second measure, so we just played a thing that went 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're gonna go, so that here a brain part was being generated for you because the very first thing started with just, whereas this measure we play high notes at the same time as on or downbeat. We're going both bass, both bass high, and that's 1, 2, and I'm just playing the E7 right there. So there's the first 2 beats rather. It's 1, 2, and that was tripping you out a little bit, but totally. So 1, 2, and then if you want to just extend it to the next bass note, so we're not going. Cool, get good at that. Now let's just pretend that last bass note's where the song starts. The beats 3 and 4 just go super easy. Just bass note along with high notes, no left-hand element whatsoever. Putting that together with what we were doing in the first half of the measure, which like using terminology like measure that makes it sound like more is actually happening and so forth. We're just going and conceptualizing that as ba, boom, cha, boom. Bang, 1, 2, and 3, 4. This one's helpful for some people. When I say both, I mean both. When I say bass, I mean bass. When I say high, I mean high strings. So we could think of what I just did as both bass, high bass, both bass, both bass, high bass. And the first measure, it went bass, both high bass, followed by both bass, high bass, both rather. Cool, so there's our E thing. And you want to get confident at that, but don't move on to looping it prematurely. But there it is. Just a little hint, you can always throw your first string like pentatonic instead of going second string pinky. Going first string pinky almost always works if I just guessed. Which is doing the same exact thing, just first string, sound fine. So we can just think of like these are the things that are in bounds, or like if I'm playing pentatonic things in this case. Cool. So that'll happen twice. We get to A, and we're going first left-hand wise. It's going to be first. It'll be just the 2-finger A7 grip, and then it'll be that the ring finger comes in there. Either way, what we've got is an A that we're putting the note G into. So this is A7. This is A7. This is A7. Any of those are just taking an A major chord and putting a G into it, whether it's the open G string or G up on the high strings, like I'm playing G chord, E, F, G, that's the note G. And if that's not a note name, then automatically you might decide, okay, that's G there, because you probably can go E, F, E, F. So that's G, like in G chords and stuff. Cool, so we're going to be going... Just 1, 2, first half, 3 and 4. So second half is cool. So I'm going bass, both, bass, high bass, bass, both, bass, high bass, boom, down, boom, dee doom. Cool. Second half of the A thing, and this implies stopping. Get good at that without looping it. Just get good at doing a single one, and then when you're good at that, you can loop it if you want. Second half of A is going to start with the pinky on, and then end with the pinky off. We're going to go. So that was 1, 2, and first half, and then just 3, 4, 3, 4. So the second half is easy. It's like what happened at the beginning of the song, where we were going, and then it was like, it was just like at the end. Okay. So the end is easy. So there's our second half of A again. Sounds like 1, 2, and 3, 4. Putting that together with the previous A thing we've been doing. We're going now. And there we are. So that's, bass, both, bass, high bass, both, bass, high bass, both. Anyway. And then we'll be going back to our E thing that you'll already know at this point. So I'd get good up to there, because that's like 3/4 of the song, and there's only one new thing otherwise. Here's our song so far. And don't even try to sleep on the component parts, but it's E thing twice, A thing once, E thing once. Okay. Like in a 12-bar. Big section 1, yeah. So right at like 9:30 here on your video, and I'm going to write a little 9:30 just for helpful scrolling. Yeah, so B-wise, we're just going to be playing notes from the chord with no left-hand deviation. Okay. And the bass line's going to be just like it was in the A chord, because we're playing it. Sometimes we do stuff where we do that, but in this song, we'll just keep it simple. this is a chord that we think of existing on the 5th string and down, so naturally we're hitting it. Anyway, cool, so it's just, that's probably the easiest thing that we've done in the song. We were just like bass on its own, pinch, which is both, bass, both, which we could also call pinch. It's the only time we did it in the song. Bass, pinch, bass, high bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a Swedish one. And then we go back to A, and it's gonna go, So that was just, the first A with this. 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, and.
That's the same A section? No, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's a little different than what we did earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, first half. Second half. So just, learning the little beat bit, learning that, putting them together, we've got. Excuse me. In our version for now, we'll just go back to our E thing chorus. But that's where you can put in a turnaround instead. Obviously, you can do something like, even if you broke bass rhythm, or whatever you usually do, and then fall right back into this, and it'll still sound cool. So hey, here's the whole thing. 12 minutes in. I just wrote this on the spot. Oh, it's the 3s and 4s from the counting that's screwing me up, so no problem. A stuff. So there's our A thing. So far, what I meant to say is. Like that. So, worst possible thing, do the whole thing. Best possible thing, do it in sections. If you even never performed the entire thing, completely inconsequential, you can put it all together when you have finished each bit.